The prosecutor's voice cut through the hushed courtroom like a blade as he slammed a hefty folder of classified documents onto the bench. "You betrayed your nation, Lieutenant. Stand down." All eyes fixed on the young woman at the center, her hands bound in cuffs, clad in an orange jumpsuit, her dog tags dangling around her neck like a relic of honor. She stood unflinching, her face a mask of stone, haunted yet unreadable. The first female SEAL sniper in history, now branded a traitor, stood encircled by the very system she'd bled to protect. Not one soul in the room seemed to recall the 22 lives she'd saved in Kandahar or the 6 bullets she'd endured while dragging her wounded commander from a deadly ambush. All they saw was the headline, "SEAL Sniper Betrays Navy." The judge, adjusting her glasses to hide her discomfort, betrayed the tension in the air. Everyone teetered between justice and theater. "Lieutenant Carter," she said, her voice taut, "you're accused of leaking encrypted mission files, causing the deaths of 6 operatives. How do you plead?" Carter raised her gaze slowly, meeting the judge's eyes. Her voice, though quiet, bore the weight of someone who'd fought countless battles, some with gunfire, others with betrayal. "Not guilty." A sneer erupted from a row behind her, a Pentagon official muttering, "Typical. Break barriers just to shatter trust." She heard it. She always did, the subtle jabs reminding her she was an outsider. Then, without warning, the courtroom's heavy oak doors burst open, the sound reverberating like a thunderclap. All heads turned. A group of decorated officers strode in, led by a man in pristine Navy dress uniform. Admiral Warwick, the highest-ranking officer in Naval Special Warfare Command. His presence froze the room, eyes widening. The judge rose, caught between protocol and alarm. "Admiral, this is a closed session." He ignored her, striding forward, his voice steady but cutting. "Precisely why I'm here." Murmurs spread like wildfire as he produced a hard drive from his coat and faced the room. "This holds the complete comms logs and digital trace of the alleged transmission. It proves the file was sent from a falsified account after Lieutenant Carter was already detained." Gasps erupted. Confusion swirled. The prosecutor tensed and the judge blinked rapidly, struggling to process. Warwick's tone turned icy. "Moreover, the logs reveal internal redactions, tampering by someone with high-level clearance. Someone in this room." Carter, still in chains, looked up, a flicker of hope breaking through her disbelief. The prosecutor tried to interject, but Warwick pressed on. "I'm ordering an investigation into Major Dunlap for evidence tampering and obstruction." The courtroom reeled. 2 MPs stepped forward, seizing the prosecutor, who flailed briefly before falling silent as the truth hit him. As he was led past Carter, he avoided her gaze. She didn't move or gloat, but for the first time in months, the weight of her chains felt lighter. The judge, visibly shaken, spoke. "Lieutenant Carter, this court owes you an apology." Carter remained silent, her quiet more powerful than any words. The system that had forged her, trained her, and nearly crushed her now scrambled to correct its near-fatal error. She wasn't just exonerated, she was vindicated. Outside, reporters swarmed like vultures on a battlefield, microphones shoved toward her, demanding answers, reactions, fury. She stood rigid, her hands now free but still trembling from months of unrelenting strain. Admiral Warwick stood beside her, leaning in softly. "You owe them nothing, but if you want your story heard, now's your moment." She faced the sea of flashing cameras, took a deep breath, and spoke. "I served this country for 12 years. I've watched friends die. I've taken bullets so others could live. When someone framed me, everyone looked away like none of it mattered. But the truth, it always finds a way." She paused. "Even if it has to claw through the mud to breathe." No music swelled, no flags waved, but the crowd exploded into applause, not because she was a hero, but because she rose when the world demanded she stay broken. She didn't cry or smile. She simply turned and walked away, head high, her silence louder than any shout. What they didn't know was how close she'd come to signing a false confession, to letting them win. In her darkest moment she'd recalled her father's words, "They can chain your body but never let them cage your truth." That truth, buried beneath betrayal and silence, had finally roared free.